Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. And I need a resolution to adopt the agenda. I can't see anybody. Brad Parks, mover, and seconded by Bob Prevost. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interests? I don't see any. So we will adopt the minutes of the September 29th meeting. Can I get a mover to adopt agenda? Bob and Brad. All in favor to adopt the agenda, or yeah, to the minutes? Good. Items for discussion and consideration. We have a request from residents of Shanty Bay Road, a resolution to request for a turnaround. I don't know if Michelle wants to speak on this. I don't think Martin is here yet.
Martin just logged on.
Oh, Martin.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
No problem.
Yeah, I can speak on this. Second, I'm just gonna open it up. So the residents at the end of Shanty Bay Road have approached the municipality with a petition that they would like an actual turnaround for their road, as Shanty Bay does not have we'll call it a standard turnaround. The reasons why this was never done in the past was it is built next to a cliff and there's no room to put an easy turnaround, we'll call it. Is there a way to put a turnaround? Yes, it would just require a lot of time and money. But besides that, I think it's a good idea to actually get it going. There's a few roads that we do have that do not have adequate turnarounds, and I'm sure our operators are sick and tired of trying to turn around in a driveway. And I'm sure the residents are also sick and tired of us turning around in their driveways. So this is it's a good idea. And, hopefully we can put it forward. It is currently in the projected budget for next year's road plans to achieve this goal. But again, we have to see on budgetary costs and such.
Okay. So I believe we will look at the updated 5-year road plan, and if we decide that we're okay with that, I don't think we need a resolution for this, since it's already in the new road plan, right?
Dave,
Yes. Yes, Dean.
I just kind of curious about what the estimated cost of doing this and what's involved a little bit more from Martin. He kind of indicated that it's not cheap and that there's an issue with a cliff. And maybe you could enlarge a little on that, Martin, so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, hard to explain without pictures in front of me, but basically when you're driving down to the end of the road, on the left-hand side, you have all of the cottages and the houses on the side of Shanty Bay, Shanty Bay. And then on the right hand, well, at the end of the road, there is a house. It's actually our head librarian lives there, Chris. And so the road just kind of like ends at her driveway. So on the right hand side is an actual cliff that runs all the way up to Shanty Bay splits off at one point to Boisvert Road, and Boisvert is the road up top. It's actually kind of interesting because the municipality owns all of that cliff. It's about 50-60 feet high, I guess, from the road. So it's a pretty significant drop. But there is a bit of room between the actual rock face and the road. There's a lot of boulders and debris that's there that could be moved or blasted. I've never really done blasting before or excavating large materials like that, but my estimate based off of just looking at it and how our contractors work is roughly about $30,000, $20,000 to $30,000 just for this turnaround. So it is a significant amount of money. It's not the end of the world, but it is more than most.
Martin, the road has been plowed from in the past.
Yes, it is a yearly maintained road.
And the issue, it seems, is that without the turnaround, the plows have to turn around in somebody's driveway. Is that the?
That's correct. And the grader as well.
So this cliff, would it require also to have guardrails on it where the turnaround is?
It would be more of, I would think, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when for mining, they have like the fence on the rock face kind of deal, just to keep the rock together, so there's nothing that falls off, kind of. So you wouldn't need guardrails because the road is too far at the top to actually affect it, but it would. You never know if a rock or something might fall off that could affect. Well, which could affect it now, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I guess I'll leave my comments with this last one. We better get an estimate of that cost for budget time.
And I believe Brad had a question.
Sorry.
So, Mr. Chair, the municipality then has a certain liability using people's driveways to turn around in terms of accident, in terms of maintaining their driveways. I'm sure every spring they'll need a quick grading just to take the ruts down from the graders and the trucks. Is that true?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, if I can
Yeah, go ahead.
speak. On this specific road, I've never heard of any maintenance that we have to do otherwise, but I do know that that is an issue with some of our roads. I know on Greaves Road, it's a road off of Pinewood, just it's our last road going towards Living. There's no turnaround there either, and we end up using a driveway to do that, and their driveway culvert ended up collapsing. So being the nice municipality that we are, and the fact that we were using their driveway, we replaced that culvert for them. So, but again, that is an expense that we are maintaining their entrance. So this would be similar for that situation. We would remove those liabilities.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. But we could be, if the grader hit their car or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still a liability there when you go onto their property.
There could be a day that they have a house party for Christmas and there's 15 cars in their driveway, and then
Yep.
we're stuck.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, it's not good practice to be turning around in private driveways.
No, and if I look at it right, if I'm looking at the right road, it's the upper road, right? Shanty Bay, not the lower one?
Is the lower one.
Lower
It's
one, okay,
Shanty
so
Bay,
it's
yeah.
really, yeah, there's really nothing there, is there?
Yeah.
And it's a long backup if you can't turn around. So then that's a bigger risk again.
Yeah. The lower one on the left is
Okay.
Shanty Bay.
Okay,
we actually have a very similar issue with Manette Road, which is the road before Shanty Bay, off of Shanty Bay. That one's a seasonal road, which is good because there's no room to turn around down there. But it's the same thing. It's built on the cliff edge. So, and somebody built a lot at the end of the road, so there's no room to turn around. So that one, no one requested a turnaround there, which is good because that one is a little worse than Shanty Bay. So one day we'll get there.
Martin, I have a question on this. So it will require blasting, right? To be able to do this?
I'm not 100% sure because the area that is there are a lot of boulders, but I don't know if it's bedrock under the boulders.
Okay, just because I'm wondering, like, I know the houses are fairly close to that area.
There's one house real close.
Yeah, but I also do know from experience that bedrock in that area breaks up pretty easy with a machine. Well,
Okay.
fairly easy for bedrock. Some of it breaks up fairly easy.
Good. Noted.
Okay, is there anybody
Martin,
else that
Yeah.
had questions on?
yeah, I've got one.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Oh.
How much snow is put onto the private driveway when he's making his turnaround? Do we have to make special operations?
We don't bring out a load or anything to remove the snow, but I do know that it does, once it starts building up, it is an issue for the plow because again, the one side is basically a cliff. So when the plow goes in the first time, there's not too much space to put the snow. So it does back up. And then I know we do have an issue. I don't know if this turnaround would solve that issue, but the last house has an issue that all the water and all the ice starts to melt in the spring and all that water rushes into their driveway. Again, I don't know if a turnaround there would help them with that, but if anything, we could put a ditch that would help the water drain. So
Yeah.
Widening the road would be best. Adding a turnaround would allow us to put more snow somewhere appropriate.
How far do we encroach on the private land when the snowplow is making his turnaround?
I would say we go on the private land when we turn around.
How much? How many feet?
How many feet onto the road? We would literally be using a driveway to fully turn around. It's not just a one or two tires. We go inside their driveway.
The length of the truck.
Yeah.
Okay,
I believe Councillor Bob had a question.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two questions, but Peter just asked the one for snow I was concerned about. And I presume on our 5-year plan, the 30,000 that's in there for Shanty Bay is that's what you estimated. There's no other work to be done on that road. That 30,000 was for the turnaround, Martin?
That's correct. There's no
Okay.
planned work on Shanty Bay. It is in relatively good shape compared to our other roads. So Shanty Bay is not even on the 10-year road plan.
Okay, so that's strictly for the turnaround. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on this subject? Don't see.
maybe one more. Yeah,
Okay. Go ahead, Peter.
by widening or making that turnaround, is the turnaround going to be on the driveway? And are we going to be liable for any expense due to loss of property size?
No, we should not be expropriating any property. Give me 1 second here and I can probably bring up a bit of a diagram.
Mhm.
And I'll give you a better visualization here. I also have my cat trying to join the meeting, so don't mind him. Ugh, come here, kitty. I'll do this, I'll do this. I will do, I'm gonna share my screen with everyone. All right, okay, so here we have Shanty Bay. Zoom out a little bit. So here's the highway, Minettville Road, Canal, and then Shanty Bay. This is Minette, Shanty Bay, and Boisvert. So the road just ends at this property right here. So if I turn on my aerial, I'll be able to see a little bit of the road. Okay, now here. Okay, so road, oh, that's the wrong color. Okay, the road runs here. This is the driveway we tend to turn around in. And then there's a driveway here and there's a driveway here. All of this is a mountain. So I know it's getting a little bit messy here. Do this a little bit. So the idea is to clear this section here and at least give us a little bit of room to at least make a ditch and or pile snow so our vehicles can turn around. There's actually a hydro pool right here. That's one inconvenience, but at least this way it would give us more room.
Where's the cliff?
All of this is a cliff. So,
Oh, it's a
up
mountain.
kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at like a good 60-foot drop from here to here. Yeah, so that's Shanty Bay. One of our many roads that do not have a turnaround. If there was any other questions with the map, I can turn it off.
I think that's good. Thank you.
Are we
Martin.
going to get a repeat of that on the end of the upper road?
The upper road actually has a large turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no issues with it right now.
Just the other small road.
Yeah, the other small road does have this has a repeat, but at this time it is a seasonal road, so we don't expect, we grade it maybe once a year. There's very little traffic. There's about 3 houses down there and they're all cottages. So it gets very little foot traffic.
Okay. Are there any other comments or questions? I don't see any. We'll move on to 4.2, the updated 5-year capital road rehabilitation plan. And Martin can.
Yeah, I will talk on that. So good day. For most people who've seen this before this presentation, but some of you have not. I will share my screen once again. So here we are, the updated 5-year road plan. So as you may or may not know, every 6 months or so, I review the 5-year plan and projections, and based off of what our operators tell me, based on what I see when I patrol roads. It could be anything. It could be acts of God that influence my decisions on a different road or changing roads. And so this is a live document that changes every 6 months, and I come up with different things. So this is what I've come up with so far for the following year. So over here we have the new proposed 2022-2026, which is the 5-year plan. The old plan that I had was a 10-year plan, which is now an 8-year plan. So I just kind of left it to my original planning of 2 years ago. And then these were all the updates. So I'll try to explain how everything works here. Here are the roads. Here are the sections. I forgot to put this in the legend, but I will explain them in a second. The year it's planned to be done. So 2022, 23, 24, 5, 6. Estimated cost in $2021. Over here we have the move, I called it. So basically, these are just kind of definitions. So these are fixes. So Shanty Bays here, these are not full road rehabilitations. These are just, I don't want to say quick fixes, but little patches here and there. So Serenity Bay is a seasonal road that has an issue with the turnaround that needs to be fixed. Shanty Bay, issue with the turnaround. Labras Road is a road that we completed this year, and it is a little narrow. And a few of the residences have complained that the road is very narrow and they would like to see it widened. So I threw it in the forecast, and if we have funds for it, then we might be able to help them out.
Martin, can I cut in for a second on that one?
Sorry, what's that?
I just have a question for Labras Road. Does it meet the standard as of right now of
No.
width?
No. So our standard is a 7-meter road. So it's about 24 feet wide, plus shoulders. We only have 2 roads that actually have shoulders. So none of our roads are really too standard. But as long as we can keep that 24 feet, that is perfect. So 7 meters. If you're looking at a Highway 69, your lane is approximately 3.25 meters wide. So it's 6.5 meters for one road. So if we can get to 7 meters, that's more than enough room for at least two dump trucks driving by each other.
What do we have now?
Labras Road, when we started the work, it was about, we'll say maybe 6 meters. So 6 meters is good for 2 cars. It is currently about 5.5 to 6 meters. So when two cars can maybe approach each other, but it's not great. The reason why this wasn't really a concern is there are, I think, 5 houses on the road, and it's kind of a second here. Pull up the map. For those of you who don't know Labras, it's a crescent. So it's a U-shaped, but it also has a little bit extra. Oh, it's getting slow. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here's Labras. It is a crescent. It goes from 64 to 64, but it also has a stick sticking out. So we have a lot of cottages on this road, and I think there's about 6 or 7 full-time residents on this road. It's not very much. So to have the odds of that 2 vehicles meet each other coming down the road are very slim. And if they do, there are a lot of driveways that they can drive into. So it wasn't a big concern if cars would meet head on, but it's becoming more of an inconvenience to the citizens. So we're going to look into widening it at least up to 6 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was that inconvenience. Where are we here? Here we are. Okay. So sorry, back to my definitions. So we have the move up, which is basically it was moved up 3 years from the original. New was added and was pushed back. So we look at this one, it was pushed back 1 year from it would have been 2022. If this is makes any sense. This one moved up 6 years, which is now 2022. This one was pushed back 1 year, so it is now 2023. If that makes any sense. So if we look over here, the original, these roads ended up getting cut. This road got pushed back 1 year. So from 2022 now is at 2023. So here it is here. This one was moved up 1 year. So from 2023 now to 2022, wherever Piedmont is. There it is. That's how this legend works. And now to explain my reasoning. So we'll go with the original first. We'll look at what was cut. Taillon was cut just because of the overall price of the road. And we also did a bit of work on it this spring. So we ended up investing about, I think, $25,000 to $30,000 on gravel at the worst section. So it's going to hold up a little bit better. It's not a great road, but it will hold up better. So the overall rehab of the entire road was $350,000 to $400,000, and we're looking at an estimated budget of $600,000. So to do more work at more places, I cut it for now. And again, it's cut from the 5-year plan, not the 10-year plan. Pine Beach and Moonlight Bay, this was for resurfacing. So we did resurfacing this year on Brousseau and Dry Pine Bay. So there was a section we left surface treated and we put another layer on top of it, which basically extends the life about another 5 to 6 years. So that was the plan with these two roads. Unfortunately, after looking back at it this year, the roads are a little rougher than what I'd like to be. So instead of resurfacing a rough road, we'll get to them eventually and redo them properly. La Brosse part 2. Oh, I should probably get to this. Part 0 is a road that is a gravel road. So we basically, the plan is to put a 6-inch gravel lift, do the ditching, and replace culverts and whatever other problem is going to show up. Part 1 is the exact same thing. Part 2 is resurfacement, so surface treatment on that specific road. So the last couple of years, we've been doing surface treating every other year. So it gives the ground a good chance to settle, pack down properly, and to avoid potholes and frost heaves. Therefore, ideally, we would have La Brosse being paved next year. But as we only did La Brosse and Prévost this year for road rehab, there's no point bringing in a crew for La Brosse, as it's less than 1 kilometer long. So we wouldn't be getting our bang for our buck if we brought out a crew this year or next year. So I'm going to push it 1 more year as we plan on doing some resurfacing the following year. Instead of me going through line by line, I don't know if anybody had any specific questions about roads, why I took out a road specifically or moved them. I could probably answer questions easier that way instead of doing line by line for 25 roads. Or I can just go through 25 roads at a time.
Brad, I think you had your hand was up a while ago. Sorry, I can't see everybody on my screen there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question. Could we not just, wouldn't it be quicker to make Labrosse one way? Signs would be cheaper than gravel.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you can get away with your existing road width, right?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I'll put that, write that one down. Actually makes really good sense. Okay. Yep, okay. Any other questions?
Somebody has a question?
I don't know
I
if I
don't-
can see everybody.
I don't see anybody.
Okay, then I'll just continue real quick on some big major things that we've done. So a lot of these things are roads that are require repairs. Three Camp Road has a constant hill that washes out every time it rains. Lac Claire is a road just off of Maggie Road. It is, in my opinion, undrivable at the moment. If you have a car, it's just bedrock and hills, and it desperately needs loving. So I can't let that just stay like that. We got to fix that. Monte Pilon, I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. It is long. It is very bad. It potholes very often, and it is one of our connecting roads. So that one desperately needs some help. Gilbert is off, is just in front of Labrosse, and actually not Labrosse, but Presqu'île. We did Brousseau, which is its neighbor. Here's Labrosse, and here's. So we ended up doing Brousseau this year. We did Presqu'île and Léger last year, and resurfaced this year. We just did Labrosse. We did Brousseau, and here's Gilbert. So this one also needs some loving. You will notice a theme with this whole corner. It is all on the list because it's just all bad. Lee's is on this list as well. It wasn't on the list until this spring when I believe it was a propane truck propane truck went in and destroyed the road on half loads. In case you're unaware, fuel trucks do have exemptions in the municipality because people need heat. Unfortunately, there's a giant rut in the middle of the surface treatment now, so that has to be repaired. Another one on the list for next year is Gautier, and I think that is the worst road in the municipality at the moment. So it's kind of neat that we're hitting this whole section. I hope the taxpayers see it as it being neat because it needs to be done. It's not that I'm favoring this area, it's just very bad. So once that all gets done, Jean Street is also on the list, and so is Woodvale. They're both bad. Sean's good, actually. Sean's good. Bellevue is good, and Voyageur is okay.
Martin,
Yes.
what's the plan with Pilon Road? I see almost $300,000 that needs to go in this road. What are we doing for that?
Yep. 6-inch lift, ditching, and culverts.
Okay, it's a long road.
It's pretty straightforward. I think there's only 2 or 3 houses on the road, but it is a connector road to Maillet, and there's lots of houses on Maillet, so it's a lot of people use it, and it's also a detour in case the highway ever closes.
Yeah.
So it's
also a highway we spent a tremendous amount of money on over the years.
I know, and everybody should be aware, a couple of years ago when they were redoing 64, and that section by the corner in Noelville was absolutely terrible. So a lot of people were going down Pilon, which ended up destroying Pilon even more. So this way we'll put some loving into it and we'll get it all fixed up.
And about 20 years ago, Hydro was hauling in a bunch of material at the back there, the power line. They were using that road, and they really
Oh yeah.
they ended up putting a little skiff of gravel on it, but it really tore up that road.
Yeah. What else is there? Haas Road is off of Highway 607A. That one's got a lot of potholes in it. Now we got Gilbert. Riverview is another. That's one of our new subdivisions, and the constant construction of, like, I think every lot is sold on it this year, and you'll see there's actually a lot of properties on this road. So here it is, and so I think every single one of them is trying to build this year. So the amount of trucks and the traffic that is on it just destroyed this road. So that is one that needs to be fixed in the next 2 years. And Green Bay is pretty rough. Plouffe also pretty rough. The hills wash out all the time. Lee's, as previously mentioned, up here, this is all the resurfacing. Again, so in case I had mentioned it, the resurfacing plan is to resurface roads that are currently serviced treatment. So everything that has tar and chip on it, we will bring it back to tar and chip. There's no plans on making any gravel roads tar and chip at this time. So that's current what we're doing. We got Driftwood off of Delamere and Delamere. The first 2 kilometers of Delamere are just atrocious and need to be fixed. This one here I have it's almost $400,000. The plan is to actually so this is kind of our what do you want to call it, our residential area. From here to here is the worst section. So the plan is to rip up the whole road, fix it all up, but then the back section is also rough. So we're also going to fix up the rest, but I'm only going to surface to this section of houses. So we'll keep the in-town surface treated. That way we can keep down the dust, and that way we'll be able to spend more money on a longer stretch of actually fixing the road. So we'll get rid of the ruts and the fix the ditching and the drainage properly. And Driftwood. So this is actually not enough budget to fix Driftwood completely, but it is enough to put a good lift on it because it needs it. We got Mercer, which is in North Minettville, which is the only new road we're going to be touching, and the rest are all oh, sorry, I lied to you. I was going to say the rest is all surface treatment, but here we have Jean and Woodvale that need to be touched. And then what do we got here? 2026. I have Sedgwick and Heritage River. So Heritage River is seen better days, but it is a heavy traffic road. It needs to be fixed. We ripped it up a couple of years ago, and we should have the funds to be able to repair it properly. Sedgwick is off of Heritage. Should be right here. When the municipality adopted this road, this is what I want. The road is very substandard. It is probably 4.5 to 5 meters wide, and the grader has a really hard time going in there. It is hilly. It is just really bad. And again, another one of these roads on the water where they decided to just put a lot of houses down, but the road is just very substandard. So it has to be fixed. La Croix is also, it's right here. It's another seasonal road, but it's I don't know why, but it is what it is. It is a seasonal road that we've been plowing for the last 20 years. So basically we need an actual road to plow, so it has to be fixed up as well. Blue Jay is a hill that washes out all the time. It's off of Whitetail. and then the resurfacing of Woodvale and Jean. So a lot of these roads are in Albin. And I know a lot of people talk about why you keep picking Albin so much over Noelville and Minetteville. And the easiest way to state it is Albin has terrible roads. Albin did a big, Dean can attest to it. They did a lot of work about probably 30 years ago, but they haven't been touched since. And that's why the roads are bad. So I'm not trying to do any favoritism. I'm just trying to get the worst roads fixed.
Martin, the hill on Blue Jay, I guess the only thing to do with that is to get it hard surfaced.
Yeah, we can probably look into that. Ditch the sides. One side is relatively ditched, the other side's not. We could surface it to keep it from washing out. There's a few things there are a few options that we can look at.
So what was the plan with what you have on here?
That is a full rehab. So fix the hill, fix the whole road.
Oh, the whole road, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
95% of these is just fix the whole thing. I'd rather spend $100,000 and fix the problem than spend 20 grand and have them to come back every so many years.
Just
Ideally, a good example is if you go down Prevost Road, just north of Noelville. We just redid that road with the help of French River Contracting. And even Dry Pine Bay Road is another good example. It's just, they look very nice. They are completely, there's ditches, the road is level. It's got a crown, there's material, we need to grade it. It's just in really good shape. And it will allow the road to survive a good 10 to 15, 20 years. I don't see us investing any fixing money. Obviously, we'll be sending the grader and doing some maintenance, and if maintenance need be, but we'll be spending a couple $1,000s compared to having actual problems. So when we invest the money, we get a good product in the end.
Okay. Dean has a question.
I noticed. I think aren't we doing something, or are we getting grants for Plouffe Road?
Not for Plouffe that I know of. We're still waiting on Montégarin.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about. Monte Guerin, yes. Well, we don't know that for sure yet. The culvert and everything.
Yes. We don't know yet. So the issue with Montégarin is I'm not going to find it. This stream right here, we have a large culvert and it currently has a crack in it. So we're dealing with our engineers to figure out what the best solution is. And we've come up with an idea that they're going to test, they're going to do a hydrology test. They're going to test how much water goes through the culvert. And if it is a reasonable amount, we can line that concrete culvert with a steel or plastic culvert. So we're basically double reinforcing the culvert without excavating it, which would probably save us about $1 million. So that's the idea right now, but we're still waiting on possible grant. The only other issue is downtown and Noelville. Saint Antoine is getting pretty rough. This whole section is terrible, but we're waiting on a grant for our sewer systems. So I don't want to be ripping up the roads and then getting a grant to rip up the roads again. So we're just waiting, and we're hopefully going to hear from them in the next year or two. I believe that's what Mark told me. That's the plan. Pandemic hit, so who knows what's going on with the grants. But once we start getting money, then we'll be start fixing up a little bit more. Yeah, so that is my presentation for now. There are other roads that do require some help, but these were the ones that I deemed most consequential. And if you're wondering how I picked them, basically terrible road, location, traffic count, budget. So everything is budgeted within $600,000. The only one that's not is this year coming, as Shanty Bay and La Brosse were added after the fact. So we'll see how the money turns out. Like, this isn't the exact cost of it. This is just based off of all of our contracting from previous years, plus 10 or 15% contingency. So it should fit, but we'll see when they go into tender.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments? I don't see anybody. Okay, do we have a resolution for this, Michelle?
If you're interested in doing a resolution, I do have one prepared.
Yep.
Okay, so be it resolved that the Public Works Advisory Committee recommends to council to adopt the 5-year updated road plan.
And can I get a mover and a seconder? Brad and Mike. All in favor? Carried. Sorry, I have to scan through all my screens to see everybody. Okay, so we'll move on to roundtable discussion. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up? Anybody has something, you can just speak up, because I don't see anybody with their hands up. Nope. Okay. So we're gonna skip to the adjournment then. Resolution, need a resolution to adjourn?
All right, be it resolved that the meeting is over at 6:54 p.m.
And it's moved by Dean and seconded by Peter. All in favor? Carried. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Good night.
Thank you.